fill us in. Kelsey?
Hey, good evening, everyone. Yes, so we had that icky, wet, slippery stuff that moved through earlier this morning, causing a lot of trouble for our morning commuters. Well, that has now worked its way out of the Twin Cities area and out of the state, but another system is moving in. March is relentless for us right now, and we are seeing that greenish blue area. That is a winter weather advisory still in place today. We did see a break in the action, so you probably noticed things got a little calmer this afternoon. No longer that precipitation coming down, at least for most of us here in the greater metro area. But now a new system that's been hanging out over the Dakotas is now making its way toward us. Some of you in the northern part of the metro area already seeing some of those snowflakes flying and noticing that it's getting closer and closer to the central metro area. This will just accumulate to about 1 to 3 inches of snow that you'll wake up to tomorrow, not to taper off till around 1 a.m. But there is some shovelable snow on its way. Yes, more snow to come. That's coming on Monday. I'll detail that and the 7-day forecast coming up, guys.
Here's Kelsey Soby in for Steve Frazier tonight.
Hey, good evening, you guys.
How you doing?
We can really shop till we drop now, right? Just
That's
head
right.
over to the
Absolutely.
hotel and grab a bed. Well, a lot of you maybe want to spend some time in the mall shopping in the next few days. It's cold and it's been kind of drizzly and miserable today. We're taking a look at storm vision right now, showing you that we've had a little bit of a break in the action. We saw some of that wet, slippery stuff that came through earlier today that really messed up the morning commute. That has now moved out, but what is now moving in is a system carrying with it mostly snow. So now we're going to be seeing snow, and it'll last a little longer than that system this morning. Like I said, we had a break during the day today. Now that snow has finally reached us, just creeping in within the last hour. We're starting to see the snowflakes. Is this normal for March? Well, the snow is not that abnormal. On average, we get about 10 inches, and we've hit that at this point. So anything from now on will be above average for snow totals. But today's average for temperatures, well, we reached 36. The average is usually a little warmer than that, and we're going to continue to stay cool in the next few days, so we're staying below average temperature-wise for the next week. The record, 69, but that was back in 27. However, tomorrow and the next day's averages, 79 and 80 degrees, those were set last year. Remember that? Hard to think back that far and think back that warm. Outside right now, it's not warm. It's cool, 34 degrees, and we do see that it is still cloudy out there. It's been a cloudy day. We'll keep that mostly cloudy feel into the weekend. A slight breeze of 12 degrees out there, helping keep it cool. Current temperatures, now we're staying above freezing right now. Minneapolis, St. Paul, 34. St. Cloud, 30. Up in the northern part of our state, below freezing. And that's important to distinguish where we are already getting below freezing, because that is where some of that melt from today will start to refreeze again. So we did drop that moisture earlier this morning. That has now moved out. We had a break. The next system moving in with it, some snow and some cooler temperatures. That's going to refreeze and make those driving conditions not good tonight. So be aware of that. The snow itself, just 1 to 3 inches coming in overnight. So that won't be the real issue on the roadways. It'll just be the fact that it'll be a little slippery. So it's a chilly St. Patrick's Day weekend, feeling a little bit more like Valentine's Day weekend. This is more like February weather. We're going to have more snow coming in on Monday. So if you're looking for some shovelable snow, we are going to be seeing that coming up here in just a few days, and that's going to be followed by a very cold wind to guide us into our Tuesday. Overnight tonight, we are dropping down to 20 degrees, so we are going to continue to see the temperatures falling, and with that, we will start to see any moisture out there that melted today start to refreeze. So driving conditions today, not great. Just keep that in mind, although the good news is with that break in between the systems today, we did give MnDOT a chance to get out there and lay down some chemical and some other things to at least help keep driving conditions tolerable for the evening. Tomorrow, 29 degrees. Trying to get to 30, but just not happening this weekend. As we go into Monday, we'll start to see those clouds roll in Sunday night and some more snow. Another system. This time we're going to get, if the model continues as it is right now, we could see about 6 inches of snow. It's going to be thick. It's going to be the kind you can make a snowman out of, and it's going to be the kind you'll have to shovel. So I wouldn't put away the shovels or the snow blowers yet. Moving into the next few days, we'll continue to stay cool and continue to stay below average. Remember, this time of year, it's easy to see 40, 41, 42 as an average. So if you're thinking, I'm sick of this just doesn't seem right. Well, you are right. This is not right.
That's
this is not average.
That's me. I'm sick of shoveling.
And it's Minnesota. We're supposed to be above average, right? Above average. All right. Thanks a lot. Coming up next.
Kelsey Soby in for Steve Frazier tonight. Lots of slop out there, Kelsey.
Right, and we had that break in the action today, and it did warm up a bit. So anything that fell really melt. Even some of that snow that was already out there from previous activities, that's melting as well. The problem is we're going to get cool tonight, so any of that melt is going to freeze over again. Some of you already noticing some snowflakes in your neighborhoods. That's because after the break in the action from today's mess, we're getting another dose. So as we say goodbye to one storm system moving out. It is now east of Minnesota. We're saying hello to storm system number 2. We are in a winter weather advisory across the region. That's what that greenish aqua color is we're seeing here, and that's going to last until 1 a.m. So this band of snow moving in, as I said, already reaching those northern suburbs, will drop 1 to 3 inches of snow, so we'll wake up to a light dusting. And unfortunately, for those of you who are ready to say goodbye to snow, this is not the end of it. In fact, we'll have to get those shovels out at least one more time. I'll tell you when, coming up.
Oh.
Hey guys, yeah, speaking of delivering, we're delivering you some more snow. So whether you like it or not, here it comes. So we're checking out our storm vision right now, where we do see that the weather that came this morning, that slippery rain that really messed up the morning commute, that has moved out. We had a break here for a few hours, and now that second system is moving in. This one will bring with it snow, accumulating 1 to 3 inches possibly overnight, so we'll wake up to some of the white stuff. So what we have going on here is down south of us, we have the warmth of the south. On the north, it's cooler, and in between we have that transition area, and that's where this kind of crazy weather likes to stick, and that's why we're seeing a continual trend of that more active weather coming through smack dab right where we live. Today's high, 36. That is below average. If you're thinking this doesn't seem right, March just shouldn't be this painful. Well, you're right. It should be a little warmer. Our average this time of year is about 40, 41. The record back in 69 degrees back in 1927. That's nothing compared to what we did last year on the 16th and 17th. We were 79 and then 80 degrees. So today's weather and this weekend's weather, a far cry from our St. Patrick's Day weekend of last year. That was actually our record for the Saturday and Sunday, I believe the 16th and 17th. That's what's on record now. Okay, we're looking outside, seeing those snowflakes starting to come down. So that second system has made its way into the Twin Cities area. The flakes are flying, as you can see, and we're still above freezing at 34 degrees. Now the trouble will be with some of this precipitation coming down, then also some of the moisture that came this morning. As those temperatures do drop across the state, we will start to see some really slippery driving conditions. So keep that in mind if you're heading out tonight. Current temperatures, you can see we're still keeping it at 34 at the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport, 32 in Hutchinson, 37 in Owatonna, 34 in both Eau Claire and La Crosse. Farther up north in the state, we're keeping it in the 20s, so it's cool. Again, below average for this time of year. And that moisture, while one went away and we said bye-bye, now we say hello to that second dose. It's not going to be shovelable snow. That is on its way. So this is not your average March. It's a chilly St. Patrick's Day weekend. If you're heading out to the Minneapolis or the St. Paul parades tomorrow, be sure to bundle up because it's going to be cool, and it's going to be a lot cooler, 50 degrees cooler than it was at the parade last year. We're getting more snow on Monday. That's the shovelable snow I mentioned to you, and that will be followed by a very cold wind. Doesn't sound good, does it? Cooling down tonight to at least get you ready for that, and then tomorrow a high of 29. So really, we're struggling moving into the weekend to break 30. Probably not going to happen. And then Sunday, we start to see the clouds roll in, go from partly cloudy to mostly cloudy, and then getting in another dose of snow. This one will be shovelable. We could see enough where you may get those snow blowers back out. It'll be good for making snowmen, though. It's supposed to be sticky, some of that thick stuff coming in from the Rockies. But then on the tail end of that system is where we have that whipping wind. As if having the snow wasn't enough, the chilly temperatures, but then we have the wind blowing us around. So it's definitely going to not feel like your average March probably until we can get out of this cool stretch, which is scheduled right now to last about 7 to 10 days, guys.
Okay. A chilly St. Patrick's Day. All right, thanks a lot, Kelsey.
Luck of the Irish isn't going to help you stay warm. Sorry.
Until the lawsuits come out. It's my creative, right?
It's part of my
license. Creative license.
I don't think so.
Some of us feel like going like this to
Concentration factor really more than the inches here.
Yeah, I think so.
It's the tease of the warmth and then the dumping.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to see you back here at 9 and 10 o'clock tonight. Access Hollywood comes up next. We'll see you a little later. Steve Frazier tonight with kind of our first peek at all of this and where it's heading.
Yeah, hey guys, and that little boy's going to get his wish. He will have some snow to make snowballs with. But not tonight. That's coming next week. Yes, what you're seeing right now is not the last of it. So we had that wet, icky, slippery stuff that fell this morning. Then we had a break. Storm Vision showing us we had a quick break, and the rest of that system from earlier is moving out. But now what has moved in is another system, a second one for the day, following the same line and dropping some snow in the same area that saw some of that slippery rain earlier today. Although it's a little bit more widespread. We're thinking we're going to get 1 to 3 inches overnight tonight. So if you're heading to bed, you'll wake up, see a little bit of that white light dusting. That system following that I-94 line. Now, part of what's happening here is we have the warmth of the south sort of fighting it out with the cooler temps north of Minnesota, and right in that transition period between the warm and the cold, we have all the activity, and that's right where we live. So already you're probably seeing some snowflakes flying outside your window, and it will start to taper off around 1 a.m. this morning. Won't accumulate too much, but guys, as I mentioned, there's more snow on the way on Monday. I'll detail that in a 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, Kelsey. You know, kind of looked like a Charlie Brown snowfall out there tonight for a little while.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. It's true.
And just
a
as
little bit.
dreary, just as dreary as poor little Charlie Brown in his life.
Oh, Kelsey Soby here with the weather. Don't be down. We're going to get through it.
Well, it's a little ironic because last year at this time it was the warmest, most beautiful St. Patrick's Day weekend we've ever had, and this year pretty much the dreariest we've ever had. So
it's the yin and yang of life.
I guess so.
It's
Keeps
not
us
15
tough.
below.
Conditions out there, as we did have some melting going on this afternoon, and now that we're getting below freezing in a lot of the areas in Minnesota, especially now in the Twin Cities, we're going to be dealing with some of the refreeze. So a little careful if you're heading out tonight, and be sure to stay bundled up. Today's high was 36. That is below average. If you're feeling like this just doesn't seem like your typical March, well, you're right. Normally this time of year, we're getting closer to 40, 41 for our highs for the day. So we're staying below that, and that trend isn't going anywhere. I'll detail that coming up in just a few. Our record for this time of year is 69 today, but last year, if you remember, on the 16th, we climbed up to 79 degrees, and then on the 17th, we were at 80, and oh, it felt so good. If you're heading out to those St. Patrick's Day parades tomorrow, bundle up. We're going to be looking at being 50 degrees colder this St. Patrick's Day versus last year. Now, checking out what we're seeing outside, the sun has finally gone down. Yes, I was enjoying the fact that until about 7:30, I could still see some light out there, but it is chilly. It's 28 degrees. So the temperatures are dropping. They'll fall throughout the night. That slight breeze out there not helping, keeping things cool. Across the state, a little farther north, Brainerd 21 degrees, St. Cloud 23, Minneapolis, St. Paul now 28. 37 still down in Owatonna, but we are keeping it cool, and as those temperatures fall, keep an eye on your temperature gauge in your cars, because as it does go 32 below and less, that is where we'll start to see the refreezing on those roadways. So we saw radar over the past 12 hours showing us that first system that came through this morning. That carried with it that rainy, icky mix that made for a very messy morning commute. That has moved out east of us. That second storm coming in, winter weather advisory in effect until 1 a.m. So this snow won't start to taper off until the overnight hours. You'll wake to see a few inches of snow has gathered. But that same pattern, we're seeing that same flow as a result of the fact that we have that warmer weather below us, that colder air above us, and sort of that transition period in between the two is right smack dab where we live, and that's why we're seeing this snow. So it's not your average March. It's going to be a chilly St. Patrick's Day weekend, and we are longing for what we felt last year, but that's not the case, but that's all right. We still have those hats and mittens ready, right? Just put those on and you should be fine out at the parade. More snow coming on Monday, so if you're loving this and you want more of it, one more chance to get out that shovel. Overnight tonight, we'll get down to 20 degrees, so it'll get cooler and cooler as we move through the night. Overcast overnight as well. Snow does taper off, but again, that's not going to happen until after midnight. Tomorrow, 29 degrees. We'll be fighting to get into the 30s this weekend and just probably will not make it. And then Sunday, as we move from partly cloudy into mostly cloudy, as another storm system moves in, this one preparing for us in the Rockies right now, and as it's going to head toward us, they will be bringing the type of snow that you really need to shovel, that you can make snowballs with, and then on the tail end of that, we'll be seeing some the next 7 to 10 days. We're keeping it cool, at least for now.
And tonight, be careful of that ice in case it ices up. All right. Thanks, Kelsey.
And Storm Vision showing us snow is in the metro, and it's not the last snow we'll be seeing for this month. In fact, some shovelable snow coming up on Monday. I'll tell you all about it coming up in your weather forecast.
Icy roads and the weather out there, and the St. Patty's Day weekend ahead. What does it look like, Kelsey?
Well, a lot of people would like to see this winter weather streak end, and it just isn't going to end yet. Yes, the slippery conditions are a real factor tonight, as we did have some of the melting. We had that messy, cold, icy rain that came in this morning. Then we had a break in the action before the snow that has now moved in. And during that period of time between the two, we had some melting. It warmed up a little bit. So any of that moisture is now refreezing as we drop below freezing in most areas of the Twin Cities. We're seeing now the cover right here in storm vision showing where we have the snowflakes coming down right now. A light snow. It's not coming down really heavy, but it could make things a little tricky out there if you're driving. So just keep that in mind. Doesn't feel like a normal March. That's because it's not. We are below average when it comes to temperatures and above average when it comes to snowfall. The high today, 36 degrees. Felt good, but it has dropped since then. The average this time of year, 40, 41. We'd like to see more of that, but right now we're stuck in a pattern where we're just not going to see that warm up for a while. The record, remember last year, St. Patrick's Day weekend, all those outdoor festivities, and it was 80 degrees on St. Patrick's Day. This year, we're looking to be 50 degrees below that. So this time last year, we were on an increase temperature-wise. Right now, though, in the Twin Cities, we're seeing 28 degrees, so below freezing. That's giving any moisture out there a chance to refreeze. It's chilly, a little breeze out there, 9 miles per hour. That's going to contribute to that cool feeling. Current temperatures across the state, the northern part of our state in Brainerd, 22 degrees, 12 up in Bemidji, so definitely cooling down, a cooling trend across the entire region, and that's going to stay with us into tonight. So cold overnight. Clouds radar over the past 12 hours show us that system that first came in this morning. That carried with it a little more moisture, so that's why it was a mix of rain, a little bit of snow, but mostly just icy stuff. That moved out as east of us now, but that second system moving in, that has been hovering up in the Dakotas and up in Canada and bringing with it more just solid snow. Now, if you're south of the 94 corridor, you're not going to get as much snow as those of you who are north. In fact, those of you in far southern parts of Minnesota may not see anything at all accumulate. So the weather headlines, we're thinking this is definitely not your average March. It's going to be a chilly weekend to be celebrating with the Irish. The luck of the Irish is not going to stop the weather from being less than desirable. More snow coming on Monday. So if you were hoping that the last of it, I'm sorry to say that is not the case. And with that Monday snow, we're going to be following it with some whipping wind for Tuesday. Yippee! Sarcasm. Unless you like the cold, then you're maybe going to enjoy this. Tonight we're cooling down to 20 degrees. That snow tapering off at 1 a.m. That's when our winter weather advisory will lift. But that doesn't mean that it's the end of the snow, of course. Get to that in a second. First, tomorrow, 29 degrees. This weekend we'll struggle to get close to 30. So it's going to feel cool, especially when you compare it to last year, where on Sunday, or the St. Patrick's Day of last year, 80 degrees. That felt great. This year, we'll push to maybe get 30. Then Sunday night, we'll turn that partly cloudy day into a very cloudy day as another system moves in. This one bringing with it snow that you'll actually need to shovel. You can even make a snowman with, if that makes you feel any better. And then after that snow tapers off, we'll have that very cold wind. So it's still feeling very chilly, very winter-like, but I think a lot of us, Tom, think winter has worn out its welcome.
Yeah, I guess if it's shovelable, that means that there's enough for a snowman.
Right, right.
All right.
Put a little Irish hat on it or something.
Absolutely. I like that idea. All right. Thanks a lot, Kelsey.